My beloved child, listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal will change the way you look at your special person forever. Something happened, quietly, secretly, shockingly, something they never expected you to find out. But here you are, hearing it before anyone else. Today, a truth unfolded that would shake anyone to their core. Your special person just met a wedding planner. Yes, a real wedding planner. And the reason behind this meeting is far more complicated, far more emotional, far more twisted than the title suggests. Stay here, don't blink, because every second from this moment onward reveals a truth your heart was never prepared for. A breathtaking shift occurred the moment they walked inside that event studio. A new beginning or a breaking point, your destiny is balancing on that thin line. Your special person entered that room with trembling hands, blurred thoughts, and a heartbeat louder than their steps. They didn't go there confidently. They didn't go there in celebration. They went there because someone pushed them into a corner, someone whispered something into their ear, someone made them believe they had no choice left. And when the wedding planner asked them, "So, who are you planning to marry?" your person froze. Not because the answer was obvious, but because the answer they wanted to say was your name. But the answer they were forced to say was someone else's. That moment broke something inside them, something they tried so hard to hide from the world. But here's the twist that will make your heart race. The wedding planner noticed something was off. She saw the hesitation, the shaking voice, the way your person kept glancing at their phone, waiting, almost desperate, almost praying, that you would call. And when the planner pushed further, "Are you sure this is the person you want to spend your life with?" Your special person lowered their eyes, swallowed hard, and whispered something the planner didn't expect. "I'm here, because I'm supposed to be here. Not because I want to be." The planner paused. Even she felt the weight of your person's truth. The silence in that room wasn't normal. It felt like the air froze, like the walls leaned in to listen, like the universe was waiting for a confession that never came out. Something is pulling them away from you, but something even stronger is pulling them back toward you, even if they're too afraid to admit it. Now the real shock. The planner didn't end the meeting with smiles, congratulations, or plans. Instead, she gently placed her pen down and said, "You're not ready. This isn't your story." That sentence hit your special person harder than anything they've heard in months. They looked at her with eyes that almost broke open. Because deep inside, they knew she was right. They knew their heart was already tied to someone else, someone who doesn't even realize how deeply they are loved. Someone who is listening to this right now. Someone who has no idea the emotional destruction happening behind the scenes. Your person walked out of that office slower than they walked in. Their shoulders dropped. Their breath unsteady. Their mind spinning. Because they remembered something, a memory of you, something that still burns in their chest no matter how much they pretend it doesn't. But here is the part you weren't supposed to know, yet you're hearing it before anyone else. The meeting wasn't about planning a wedding, it was about resisting one. Your person is fighting an emotional battle no one else sees. Someone around them is pushing them into a commitment they don't want. A relative, a parent, a friend, or a third party with selfish motives. Someone is rushing them, manipulating them, convincing them that marrying someone else is the safer choice. But your special person's heart? It's already made its choice long ago. They are trying so hard to appear fine on the outside, but inside, they're breaking. They're torn between expectations and desire, between pressure and truth, between silence and love. And this story, your story, their story, it's only just beginning. Stay here. Because what happens next will reveal the real reason they walked into that wedding planner's office, and the real reason they walked out feeling like they just lost the love of their life. Before we continue, take a deep breath. Because from this point onward, every word hits harder, every detail gets sharper, and the truth becomes impossible to ignore. What happened after your special person walked out of that wedding planner's office will leave you speechless. Their steps were slow, their heartbeat uneven, their thoughts scattered like broken pages of a story they never wanted to be part of. And the moment they reached outside, something unbelievable happened, something you were never meant to know. Your person stopped, pressed their back against a wall, closed their eyes, and whispered your name under their breath, not once, but multiple times, as if your name was the only thing holding them together. Let me take you even deeper, because the universe wasn't done showing signs. Just as your person stood there, trying to steady their shaking breath, a message popped up on their phone. A message from someone who has been forcing them to take this marriage step. And the text said, "Did you finalize the venue? Don't forget our deadline." That single sentence felt like a chain tightening around their neck. Your person didn't reply immediately. For a moment, they considered deleting the message, turning around, running back inside, and telling the planner the truth they've been hiding for months, that their heart is already bonded with someone else. Someone they still think about when the world goes quiet. Someone who makes every other option feel empty. Someone who is hearing this right now. But listen carefully, because here comes the twist that will shake you. Your person didn't walk away from the planner because they were excited to marry someone else. They walked away because they couldn't continue lying. The planner asked them one last question before they left: if the person you truly love walked into this room right now, would everything change? Your person didn't speak. They didn't nod. They didn't answer. But their eyes. Those eyes told a truth louder than any confession. Their heart screamed yes. Their soul whispered yes. Everything inside them said yes. And that scared them more than anything. Because loving you feels like home, but choosing you feels like a war they don't know how to win. And now, my beloved listener, stay with me, because what unfolds next is the turning point of the entire story. After stepping away from that building, your person didn't go home. They didn't go to the person they're being forced toward. They walked into an empty park, sat on a bench alone, and opened their gallery, scrolling through old pictures, old screenshots, old memories. Memories of conversations with you. Memories of moments where they felt alive. Memories that made them question every single decision they're making right now. Their fingers hovered over your chat. They wanted to message you. They wanted to call you. They wanted to explain everything. But fear. Fear choked their voice. Fear of hurting you. Fear of disappointing you. Fear of losing you completely. Listen closely, because now we enter the part of the story your special person never wanted anyone to uncover. After sitting alone in that park, replaying memories they tried so hard to bury, something inside them cracked open. Their eyes weren't just sad, they were terrified. Terrified because someone has been controlling their life from the shadows, and that person is the real reason they ended up at a wedding planner's office. Your special person didn't wake up one morning and decide to get married. No. Someone has been pulling strings behind the curtains, and today, those strings tightened so hard that your person could barely breathe. But here's where it gets intense, because while they sat in that park, a call came through. A call they've been dreading for weeks. Their phone vibrated once. Twice. And on the third ring, your person finally picked up. The voice on the other side wasn't gentle, wasn't supportive, it was aggressive, demanding, cold. "Did you finalize the wedding date?" the voice pressed. Your person tried to speak, but their voice cracked. They said quietly, "I don't know if I can do this." The reply came immediately, sharp as a blade, "You don't have a choice. You know what's at stake." That single sentence made your person's hands shake uncontrollably. Whatever is being held over their head, it's powerful enough to silence them, control them, and push them toward a future they don't want. Now pay attention, because this part reveals the truth your audience will never expect. Your person didn't respond to that command. Instead, they hung up. Yes, they hung up. Their heart was racing, their breath uneven, but something inside them snapped in that moment. They realized they were on the verge of losing the only person who ever made them feel understood, you. So they stood up abruptly, walked away from the park bench, and started pacing, back and forth, muttering words under their breath. Words filled with regret. Words filled with longing. Words like, "Why didn't I tell them the truth? Why did I stay silent for so long?" And now comes the most shocking revelation yet, the one that will freeze your entire audience in place. Your special person hasn't told anyone this, but inside their bag, hidden under documents and smashed emotions, there's a small envelope. An envelope with your name on it. Something they wrote months ago but never had the courage to give you. Something that explains everything, the fear, the pressure, the silence, the distance. They've been carrying that letter everywhere, hoping one day they'd gather the strength to hand it to you. But every time they think of giving it, something, or someone, stops them. Here's where the suspense explodes, because right as they took the envelope out, holding it with trembling hands, someone appeared behind them. A presence that made them shove the letter back into their bag instantly. This person, this shadow, has been monitoring their every move. Someone who doesn't want them anywhere near you. Someone who benefits from keeping you both apart. Someone whose motives will shock you when they're finally revealed. Your person looked over their shoulder and forced a smile, pretending everything was normal. But inside, they were collapsing, knowing they're living a double life, one for the world, and one for you. Something unbelievable happened next, and this is the moment your entire audience will stop breathing for a second. The person who walked up behind your special person wasn't random. They weren't accidental. They weren't harmless. This was the same person who has been planting fear inside your special person's heart, pushing them toward a marriage they never chose, blocking every attempt they made to reconnect with you. Their presence alone made your person stiffen, like every muscle locked at once. And when that shadow spoke, their voice carried authority, control, and a warning hidden between every syllable. Your person tried to stay calm, but the tension was visible. Their hands curled into fists. Their breathing wasn't steady anymore. The shadow leaned closer and whispered, "I told you to handle everything quietly. Why are you stalling?" The tone was cold enough to freeze the air around them. Your special person swallowed hard and replied, "I'm trying, but this is all happening too fast." The shadow didn't like that answer. Too fast? Or are you having second thoughts? A pause, deadly, sharp, suffocating. Your person couldn't respond. Their silence revealed everything. But then something shocking happened, something the shadow didn't expect. Your special person stepped back, creating space, and for the first time in weeks, they spoke up, not loudly, not confidently, but with a trembling kind of courage that comes from protecting something fragile and precious. They said, "I just need time." The shadow's eyes narrowed instantly. Time for what? Time to run back to them? The moment your person heard that, their heart nearly stopped. Yes. The shadow knows about you. They know everything. Every feeling. Every memory. Every moment your person still carries in their chest. And that's exactly why they're trying to push them away from you and into a marriage that makes no sense. But here's the twist your audience won't recover from, because the shadow didn't appear today by coincidence. They've been following your person ever since they left the wedding planner's office. They wanted to make sure your person doesn't break down and reveal the truth. They wanted to ensure the plan stays on track. They wanted to stop your person from even thinking about choosing you. But the universe is working differently today. When the shadow leaned in and whispered, "Don't forget what you owe," your special person's eyes filled with a silent rebellion. They're tired. Tired of being controlled. Tired of pretending. Tired of pretending they don't want you. And for the first time, there's a crack in the shadow's power, a small crack, but enough to change everything. Now the truth finally rises, and this is the part that hits like a storm your audience will never see coming. After the shadow whispered, "Don't forget what you owe," your special person froze. Not because they were scared of the shadow, but because those words reopened a wound they've been hiding from everyone, including you. That debt isn't money. It isn't a loan. It's something far heavier, far more dangerous, far more emotionally crippling. And today, it finally surfaces. Here's what no one knows, not even the person forcing them into marriage: your special person didn't fall into this trap willingly. They were manipulated into believing they owe loyalty, obedience, and silence to this shadow because of something that happened months ago, something they still blame themselves for. One night, during one of the darkest phases of their life, when everything was falling apart, this shadow entered with a fake hand of support. Your person was vulnerable, confused, emotionally broken, and this shadow used that weakness to create a false sense of obligation. They made your person believe, "If it weren't for me, your entire life would have collapsed. You owe me." But the truth? The shadow didn't save them. The shadow trapped them. And here comes the emotional explosion, because your special person has been carrying guilt over something they didn't even cause. They think they destroyed something important. They think they ruined someone's trust. They think they made a mistake too big to fix. And the shadow took advantage of that moment, feeding lies, planting fear, twisting stories, until your person believed marriage was the only way to repay the supposed favor. But inside, they've been silently screaming for help. Not from the world, not from the shadow, but from the one person who ever made them feel safe, you. But this is where everything shifts, because your person can't keep pretending anymore. When the shadow tried dragging them toward the car, your special person pulled their arm back, not aggressively, not loudly, but firmly enough to send a jolt through the air. They said, "I'm not ready for this. Stop forcing me." The shadow stared at them with a twisted smile, the kind that says they think they still control everything. "You'll be ready. You don't get to choose," the shadow replied. But for the first time, your special person didn't lower their head. Their jaw tightened. Their eyes sharpened. Something awakened in them. A new kind of resistance. A fire they thought they'd lost long ago. And now comes the turning point, the moment your audience will replay in their minds long after the video ends. As your person took a step away from the shadow, they whispered something so soft, so raw, so full of truth that the wind itself seemed to pause to listen. They said, "I'm tired of living someone else's life. My heart already belongs somewhere else." The shadow stiffened. Because that, somewhere else, was you. Your person didn't confess it aloud, but it echoed across the air like thunder. For the first time, the shadow realized they are losing control. And your special person realized that the only reason they've survived all this pressure is because the thought of you kept them breathing. Everything breaks wide open now, and from this moment on, every second becomes sharper, heavier, and more impossible to turn away from. When your special person whispered, "My heart already belongs somewhere else," the shadow didn't just hear it, they felt it. Their expression changed instantly. Eyes tightening, jaw clenching, the kind of reaction that reveals one thing: they already suspected the truth, but they never expected your person to admit it out loud, even in a whisper. The air around them shifted. The silence grew thick, almost electric, like the world itself paused to witness what was about to unfold. This is where the confrontation ignites, the confrontation your audience was never ready for. The shadow took a slow step forward and said, "So it's true. It's them. That's who you're still thinking about, even after everything I've done for you?" Your special person didn't speak. They didn't deny it. Their eyes gave everything away. That silence cut deeper than any confession. And the shadow, who thought they could control emotions, choices, destiny, suddenly felt threatened. Not by your person, but by you. You, the one they've been trying to erase from the picture. You, the one connection your special person refuses to let go of. You, the one name that still trembles on their lips every time they're alone. But here comes the shocking twist, the one that will freeze your viewers in place. The shadow didn't just know about you. The shadow has been investigating you. They've looked into your connections, your history, your bond with your special person. They've watched how your presence affects them. They've seen how one message from you can change your person's entire mood. They've noticed how your person's voice softens when they talk about the past. They've seen the spark in their eyes whenever your name appears. And that terrified them. Because the shadow knows one unchangeable truth. Your special person's heart chooses you, even when their circumstances don't. This is where everything explodes emotionally, because the shadow suddenly leaned in and said something cruel, something meant to break your person's spirit. They don't care about you anymore. You're holding on to nothing. You're imagining a connection that doesn't exist. But your person didn't flinch. They didn't crumble. They didn't fall for the manipulation this time. Instead, their chest rose with a deep breath, shaky, but strong. And they replied, with a voice that carried months of silent love. You don't know what we had. You don't know what they meant to me. The shadow lost control for the first time. Their face tightened with anger, frustration, and fear. Because right then, they realized something that terrifies manipulators the most. They can force a marriage. They can arrange a venue. They can create pressure. But they cannot erase a heart that remembers. And now comes the revelation no one was prepared for, the truth the shadow finally spits out, the truth your person never expected to hear. That person you're holding on to, they're not ordinary. They're not someone you can forget. They're the reason you're so difficult to control. Your person's heart dropped. Not out of fear. But because, for the first time, they realized that you, yes, you, are the very thing that threatens the entire plan. But wait, Bika. The real twist comes next. The shadow then revealed something they've been hiding for months. You think you're protecting them by staying away. But they're already involved. They're already part of this. Whether you like it or not. Your person froze. Their eyes widened. Because this meant only one thing. You are already in the middle of this story, and you didn't even know it. Your special person felt their heart collapse under the weight of that truth. Their biggest fear has always been hurting you, dragging you into their chaos. And now the shadow confirmed it, you're already a target in this emotional war, simply because you matter to them. Too much. More than they can hide. More than they can control. More than the shadow can